Welcome students. Welcome to the another lecture. So today we are going to discuss what do you mean by transport phenomena? Why it's important to study transport phenomena. Okay, and we should learn what are the real life examples of transport phenomena. Okay, first of all, transport phenomena consists of three parts. We have first we have momentum transfer. Okay, momentum transfer. Then secondly we have heat transfer. Fine. Then we have mass transfer. Okay. So you already studied one part each earlier. Like you have studied fluid mechanics, where basically you are actually studying momentum transfer. But nobody told you earlier. But in this course, you will know why fluid mechanics is a momentum transfer, or the famous equation Newton's law of viscosity, what exactly it is. So it is nothing but it's a momentum transfer equation. And secondly, you already learned about heat transfer, basically Fourier's law. On mass transfer, Fick's law. You have studied all these three subjects separately. Now it's time to study these three things together. Okay. For example, let's say I will show you a scenario where it becomes very important to study all these three transfer together. Fine. So let's say I have a pipe, okay, and some fluid is flowing inside this pipe. You can say water. So water is flowing inside this pipe, okay. At the same time, the water is hot. Okay, let's say it is just close to the boiling 100 degrees Celsius, or let's say 90 Celsius. Because if you take 100, then we have to also consider vapor, so it becomes gaseous phase. So let's say it is 90 degrees Celsius, so it's in the liquid phase itself. Okay, and let's say we have atmospheric temperature or ambient temperature, somewhat like 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, so now the hot water is flowing through the pipe. Let's say the pipe is conductive in nature, so it is conductive. Okay, it has some thermal conductivity so that heat can transfer from the pipe to the surroundings. So, to study this case, first tell me what are the transfer operations happening here. So, first the fluid is flowing. So, whenever there is a flow, there is a momentum transfer. Okay. So, we have momentum transfer happening here. Okay. What about heat transfer? Is any heat transfer happening? Yes, through the wall of the pipe. So because this hot water will conduct some energy through this pipe material, and it will be released to the atmosphere, right? And also there is some driving force, or there is a temperature gradient, so 90 to 25 degrees. So definitely there will be a heat transfer. Okay, is there any mass transfer happening here? The answer is no. Okay, no mass transfer happening, because this pipe is impermeable to the liquid, so the liquid cannot pass through this pipe. Okay, so there is no mass transfer happening. Fine, but let's say this pipe is semi permeable membrane. So this is semi permeable membrane. Now tell me, will there be any mass transfer here? The answer is yes. The membrane will let the water escape through its pores. So basically it will evaporate here. Okay, so water vapor will come out of this membrane, semi-permeable membranes. Okay, so now you have to consider mass transfer as well, right? Okay, we'll see another scenario. Suppose we have a candle here and it is burning and we have some flow of air, right? Now tell me what kind of transfers are there. Okay, since there a flow is there, so there will be momentum transfer. Fine. Since this is hot and the heat is passing from this hot flame to the atmosphere, so there will be a heat transfer. Fine. Will there be any mass transfer? Yes, because this candle material wax is basically evaporates when it comes with contact with this flame. So there will be wax vapor. The wax will evaporate in the atmosphere. So there will be also mass transfer, right? So to solve, suppose someone is interested how much this wax will become vapor after some certain time. If somebody asks that question, so what is the time taken to completely evaporate or this wax? Okay, so sublimate this wax. So to answer that question, you have to uh, go through all these three transfer. You have to solve all the equations for these three transfers. Okay, that is a very complicated problem. Okay, compared to the earlier problem where we have a pipe flow with a material impermeable membrane, there we have only momentum and heat transfer. That will be relatively easier compared to this problem because here all the three transfers are involved. Okay, the most easiest will be a single transfer problem. Okay, this complicated problem can be simplified into simple problem by uh, having certain assumptions. Like let's say the wax doesn't vapor much, the rate of wax sublimation is very low. Okay, you can completely neglect that. Again, let's say the heat transfer rate is also very negligible, so you can definitely neglect this too, and only we are left with momentum transfer. So you just have to find the this velocity profile of air. Okay? So like this, you can simplify very complicated problems into simpler ones. So so suppose you are given a problem. So first thing is to make assumptions so as to simplify the problem. Okay, obviously the complicated problem cannot be solved directly. So you have to make assumption. Try to make it simpler. Solve it. Just increase the level of complexity, then solve it. So step by step. So step by step you increase the complexity and solve it. Okay. Okay, fine. So what are the similarities between these three transfers? Let's go through one by one the similarities between these three transfers. So we call it analogy. So it's not exactly equal, but it's certain analogy that all three are somewhat similar. Okay. So how they are similar? So I write you one equation. So we have, so suppose we have some property here. The property can be anything. It can be momentum, it can be heat, it can be concentration, mass. Okay, anything. anything from this tree. Okay, so basically, so the main general equation is, this is general equation, this is applicable to all the three transfers. So the flux of any property, okay, is equal to some diffusivity into driving force. Sorry, driving force. Okay. So flux is equal to diffusivity into driving force. Now what is the driving force? You already know. Mass flows from high concentration to the lower concentration. Heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. Momentum flows from higher momentum to lower momentum. Okay. So basically driving force is nothing but some kind of gradient. Okay, let's say we have concentration gradient delta dy dx in x direction, only single direction. But while moving forward in this course, we will study the driving force in all the three directions. Okay. For here simplicity to make the analogy, we'll see that the concentrate or any driving force is in a particular single direction. Okay. So this is driving force. Okay. Delta c by delta x. Okay. For momentum, it can be something like delta v by delta x. Okay. This is the driving force because there is a change in difference in the velocity over distance, so that the velocity momentum will flow from higher velocity to the lower velocity. Similarly, let's say we have temperature gradient in x direction, so there is a chance that the heat will flow from higher temperature to lower temperature. So if the driving force is zero, then there will be no transfer. So there is no concentration gradient, then there will be no mass transfer at all. If there is no uh, temperature gradient, there will be no heat transfer. If there is no momentum gradient or there is no velocity gradient, then there will be no momentum transfer. Okay, so all these transfer follow this same general equation. Flux is equal to diffusivity and driving force. Okay, it will uh, it will be clear if we go through another lecture. So okay, so we'll first attack momentum transfer. Remember, all have the same general uh, form, that is flux equal to diffusivity into the driving force. Only case is that for momentum the diffusivity will be different and the driving force will be different and the flux will be different. So we'll say momentum transfer. You already know what is the Newton's law of viscosity. So you generally write tau yx, okay, tau yx is equal to minus mu d Vx by dy. So what is so basically suppose this is the direction where the fluid is flowing and this is a hard surface, right? Okay, let's say your coordinate system is like this. This is x direction, this is y. Okay, so what Newton's law basically says, where will be the high velocity? Here, right, in the free stream from away from the this boundary. So there will be high velocity here. Why? Because at the wall there will be friction, so fluid will not be able to flow. So here it will be zero. Okay, so momentum will get transferred from this higher velocity to lower velocity. Okay, okay, so that is a different case. Okay, we'll study in detail how these things work. Right now I just want to draw an analogy between the all these three transfers. Okay, so You know, the this is what mu is nothing but it is dynamic viscosity. So there are two types of viscosity: dynamic viscosity and kinematic viscosity. So dynamic viscosity units are kg per meter seconds, right, in SI unit. Okay, and we have kinematic viscosity, that is mu by rho, that is basically meter square per second. So if you hear about diffusivity, the units of diffusivity always should be meter square per second. Okay, the diffusivity unit should be meter square per second. So from the general equation we have flux. So flux means some property, let's say some property P, flow over meter square, and this is the, you know, flux. Any property P divided by area into per unit second, that is flux. Okay, and anything the meter square per second is diffusivity. What kind of diffusivity? That's a different case. And this driving force, I told you, some concentration divided by, so concentration gradient, right? Concentration gradient means C by delta T, sorry, delta distance, delta x. So any concentration, it can be momentum concentration, it can be heat concentration, it can be mass concentration, right? So this is the general. Okay, so I will show you that this is nothing but momentum flux. This is nothing but your momentum diffusivity, and this is nothing but your concentration gradient. How? So okay, first we'll attack with tau yx, that is your shear stress. That is, what is shear stress? It is nothing but a stress, right? Kind of when force is applied in a perpendicular direction to the surface, then it is a shear stress. When normal stress, when it is the force is applied along the direction of the area, then it is normal stress. But here it is shear stress. So what is shear stress? Basically the shear stress formula is force by area, right? So what is force? It is nothing but mass into acceleration, so kg per meter square second square. What is the area? Meter square, right? So this is nothing but your momentum flux. How? Just rearrange a little bit. uh, so what is the momentum? Momentum means mv, right? So kg meter per second, right? So here just collect kg meter per second, so you will have kg meter per second, then you will be only left with meter dot second. So this is nothing but momentum flux, because momentum per unit meter square second. So this is momentum flux. Okay, and on this side it is a little bit tricky. So since viscosity unit is dynamic viscosity unit is kg per meter second, so you have to make it meter square per second, right? So just divide this by density. So we'll be having mu by rho, and here rho v is by dy, right? So rho cancels out, it makes no difference, so same only. So we'll consider this part again. So what is mu? Mu is nothing but kg meter second, right? What is the density? Density is nothing but kg per meter cube, right? So if you cancel out these terms, so you will get meter square per second. So this is nothing but your diffusivity. So it is kinematic diffusivity, but it is a momentum diffusivity also. If you hear momentum diffusivity, then momentum diffusivity means mu by rho. Okay, dynamic viscosity means only mu. Kinematic viscosity and momentum diffusivity are same. Okay, now consider this part. This part should be a concentration gradient. In this case, since it's a momentum transfer, it should be a momentum concentration gradient. So what is concentration? Something property mass per unit volume. if you hear about concentration, then it should be per unit volume. Okay, but it is driving force, this is gradient. So again, concentration per unit distance. Okay, so we'll see how it can be shown that this is nothing but momentum concentration. So rho v by dy, right? So what is density? Kg per meter cube. Okay, what is velocity? Meter per second. What is y? It is nothing but distance, meter. Okay, now if you collect this part, what is this? This is momentum. What is meter cube part? This is volume, and this is meter. So this is nothing but momentum per unit volume. That is nothing but momentum concentration, right? And per unit meter, that is nothing but driving force. Momentum concentration per unit distance is nothing but your driving force, right? So this Newton's law of viscosity follows the general form, flux equal to diffusivity into driving force, right? Similarly, we'll show how this is same as heat transfer. Heat transfer now. What is the heat transfer equation? It is Fourier's law. What is Fourier's law? Q is equal to K dt by delta x or dx. Okay, what is Q? Q is nothing but joule per meter square. It's straightforward. This is nothing but heat flux, right? Q is nothing but heat flux. It's very straightforward in the Fourier's equation. What about K? K is thermal conductivity. That is watt per meter per Kelvin. In no way this is in the form of, you know, meter square per second. This is not diffusivity. So we have to tweak a little bit. So multiply by rho and Cp. Similarly, you have to multiply here and divide here. So okay. So now K by rho Cp. Just analyze K by rho Cp. This is nothing but K by thermal diffusivity. It is called thermal diffusivity. Okay, K is thermal conductivity. But if somebody asks you what is thermal diffusivity, then the answer is K by rho Cp. So if you analyze the units or dimensions, so K is watt per meter Kelvin. The what is density is kg per meter cube. And what is specific heat? That is joule. Specific heat is joule per kg into Kelvin, right? And what is watt? Watt is nothing but joule per second. Now just cancel the common terms. Kelvin, Kelvin, kg, kg, meter, meter square. So you see it is nothing but meter square per second. So this alpha is thermal diffusivity. Okay, now consider this part. So this part is rho cpt by dx. So you should get heat concentration gradient, right? Finally you should get concentration gradient. In this case it will be heat concentration gradient. So heat concentration per unit distance. Okay, so what is density? Kg per meter cube. What is specific heat? That is joule per meter, the kg per Kelvin. And what is temperature? Kelvin, and you have a meter here. Okay, so Kelvin, Kelvin cancels out, kg, kg cancels out. So what is joule per meter cube? This is nothing but heat. Joule is heat per unit volume meter cube, that is nothing but heat concentration, right? And what is this distance? So this is nothing but driving force, right? It is in the same form, concentration by concentration gradient. Only in this case it is heat concentration gradient, right? So this is driving force. Okay, now you can see that the momentum transfer and heat transfer are somewhat similar in their general form, right? So all form the same. Flux is equal to diffusivity into driving force. Okay, so our is last thing is the mass transfer. I think mass transfer is a very straightforward. So we have mass transfer. So it is given by Fick's law, right? So J A, or the flux of A, is equal to diffusivity minus D, then delta C by delta X. This is straightforward, right? This is your concentration gradient because delta C is concentration. That is nothing but mass concentration, kg per meter cube, and this meter. So this is nothing but driving force. This is concentration gradient. The diffusivity, this is nothing but mass diffusivity. The mass diffusivity has the units meter square per second. This is obvious. And what is this? This is mass flux. This is nothing but kg per meter square second, or you can write in terms of mole. So if delta C is in a molar concentration, that it will be mole per meter cube. Okay, here it will be mole per meter. So basically it's same. It can be kg or mole. So if you follow kg, then it is nothing but mass flux. Now you can see all these three transfers follow the same form. Flux equal to diffusivity into driving force, right? Okay. So if somebody asks you what is the driving force for the mass transfer, that is nothing but you can write dc by dx, where c is the mass concentration. What is the driving force in the heat transfer? Don't write dt by dx, that will be wrong. The driving force is definitely driving force is dt by dx, but if you write it properly in terms of this form, then you should have d rho cp t by dx. In case of momentum transfer, it will be d rho vx by dy, right? So definitely this is the analogy between these three transfers. Okay. Okay, so we'll now go through things called, so there can be three levels at which we can study transport phenomena. So first thing is macroscopic. Okay, this is a macroscopic level. Then microscopic level. Then thirdly, you have molecular level. It's straight from forward from the definitions of microscopic, macroscopic, and molecular. So in macroscopic level, we basically just study as a whole system. Suppose we have a mixture here. So in macroscopic study, we'll just be interested into the, suppose you are doing CSTR study. So you basically write the equations, right? This is Ca naught feed, then Ca. So you just write the equation as tau is equal to uh, dCA, that is your Ca naught minus Ca by minus Ra, right? This is the performance equation of a CSTR. So this is nothing but we are doing at macroscopic level. Okay. So what about microscopic level? So in microscopic level, in microscopic level, we basically just go in between a little zoom, just zoom in. Okay. So we'll try to study a region in the macroscopic system, right? And we'll do some kind of mass balance and energy balance. Let's say we have a pipe flow, water is flowing in the pipe. I want to see what is happening in this region. So in this region, I will do a momentum balance, in, out, accumulation. Okay. So if I derive the equations by doing this balance, so it is called microscopic. Okay. Okay. What about molecular level? So molecular level, we directly go at molecular level. So suppose there is a reaction between O2 and some, let's say, carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide. Okay, so we will study this reaction at molecular level, how these molecules are colliding with each other and forming the product. Okay, so if you do like this, that is called at molecular. So this transport phenomena can be studied all these three levels. Okay, obviously molecular level it becomes very complicated. Macroscopic is very easy. Microscopic is a little bit difficult, but not too complex. So in this course, we'll be doing microscopic level, because we are going to derive the Newton's law for this flow in 3D. So during that process, we are be doing microscopic calculations. We'll take a small area and we'll integrate over the whole area. That's how we'll do it. So that's all. So next class uh, we'll discuss. We'll first start with momentum transfer. So we'll now in the next class we'll discuss the Newton's law of viscosity in detail. So what are the different ways to express Newton's law in 3D? Okay. Thank you.